those are my top 3 tips for being extroverted, because being extroverted per se is what's going to get you to manifest opportunities out of thin air. And it's not me, but rather it's God, and it's rather you working alongside God to give you, to allow things to happen for you, because things can't happen when you're under a rock. Things can't happen when you don't talk. Things can't happen when you're by yourself, when you're in your house, when you don't go out of your routine, when you don't do things, when you say no, when you let your tiredness stop you, your laziness stop you, your fear, your anxiety. Whenever these things are the enemy and they cripple you. Procrastination, another person I met this year, he told me procrastination is the assassination of the future you. And that is so real. So my biggest tips that I could leave you with. What's up, you guys? It's Jaslyn Janae. I like to make lifestyle content and motivational videos in hopes of inspiring you to live your best life as I'm living mine. I'm coming to you guys with an impromptu video because I was literally editing a Instagram post that made me think of, I don't know, something that I get asked a lot and something that I just needed to share before I lose it, basically. Because you know how ideas are floating, so they're coming in and out, and if you don't act on an idea immediately, sometimes it just goes to somebody else. At least that's what I heard. So I was like, you know what, I have to do this, because I was thinking in my head, what do you guys want to see? What do you want to see? And I've been editing content from last year because I have so much content. So I've been editing blogs and things like that. I actually have a blog that is due for posting this weekend. I was almost done, but I'm going to skip that one and get this one out to you guys, because today we're going to talk about my top 3 ways on how to be extroverted and manifest opportunities out of thin air, basically. So one of my main top descriptions of myself, that if you ask people what would they describe me, how would they describe me, is that they describe me as extroverted, right? And I like to think of myself as an introverted extrovert, because I'm really more of a invitation girl. And that brings me into my first number 1 way that I am an extrovert, is by being a yes girl. And when I say being a yes girl, I mean being open to new opportunities. So the whole thing that even brought this idea to my head was Art Basel, right? I was editing my pictures to post for Art Basel, and it brought the idea that, wow, I really manifested going to Art Basel out of nowhere. And it's because I'm a yes girl. I say yes to invitations if it aligns. And this so happened to be the rare occasion. If you don't know me, I live here in Miami, Florida. I've been living here since 2023. I'm sorry, excuse me, 2022. So it's been over 3 years at this point, and I had never participated in Art Basel because I just don't know what's going on. I don't know the people. I don't know anything. Like, I'm not an artsy gal, so I just didn't know like what events. And if you don't know what Art Basel is, it's this huge thing that happens in Miami every year, and all of the creators and artists come out and have different events and showcase their art. And you kind of, it's a lot of things going on at once under this huge umbrella of Art Basel. So you kind of have to know who in order to know what, right? Like what's worth your time of going to. So I actually had met a guy before, like that's a whole nother example within this example, but there's this random guy that I met that me and my friend had met him. He bought us drinks, and so it was a random connection that we made. And he doesn't live in Miami, but he was coming back to Miami for Art Basel. He's like, hey, I'm gonna be out there, I want to see you. So long story short, he sent me like all of the ideas that he had in a shared note. He sent me all of the ideas, so I was able to pick and choose what I want to go to. So as soon as I was available after work, I'm like, okay, I'm going to this. I didn't even meet the guy, right? I didn't even meet the guy there because he ended up not responding. So I ended up going by myself, right? So this is like where being a yes girl really comes into, like, are you gonna actually follow through, right? Because I could have said yes to the invitation, but, right, with conditions, like only if only if, yes, only if, yes, but I didn't decide to do that. I decided yes, 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 hard stop, period, right? So my yes was I'm going with or without him, right? So he didn't text back. I didn't let that stop me. I got dressed, I got out there, and I met some girls, I met some people, and one of the people that I met was an artist, an amazing artist. I'll tag him, whatever. He's an amazing artist, and he invited me to this art show that's really nice. Like, you would have had to pay to get in, or I don't know, like some very like prestigious artists are there selling art for thousands of dollars. And I mean, tens of thousands of dollars. I don't want to like lowball it, but yeah, they're making bank out here, these artists. This is what they do, especially even the artist that I met. He's a full-time artist. His art was amazing. He got me into the art show, and like, you know, just to be around that environment, to learn from him and to walk around, and people admire me, and they're in front of their art, and I admire their art, and I make different connections. It was so amazing to experience, and my network grew, and I got inspired, and I was able to learn from these individuals of how they came to be, which poured back into me because it inspires me about who I'm becoming to be and who I am. And I got all of this just from saying yes. Like, being open to the opportunity of more happening, and just being open to invitation, and not letting my fear or anxiety or doubt or conditions stop me from experiencing it. Just making it and embracing it for what it truly is how I got that opportunity, right? So now I want to move into the next one. Speaking of opportunities, number 2 top tip on how I am extroverted and how I manifest opportunities into thin air, out of thin air, is by looking for opportunities. Okay, so I'm gonna say my example is the apartment that I live in right now. I was able to manifest this apartment out of thin air just because I always am open to more opportunities. I'm open to going to things and doing things by myself and learning and new opportunities. So I came across the individual who passed this apartment to me at a hot girl walk, right? It was in the back of my mind. Like, one day I was just scrolling and I came across this concept. This is when I first moved here. This is back in 2022. So I need you guys to like really like let this sink in. Back in 2022, the first year that I moved here, I came across this concept of a hot girl walk. And I'm like, I'm here, I'm new in Miami, I need girlfriends, I need to meet people. So I had it, and I'm like trying to think what Saturday is going to be a good Saturday to go. Randomly, one Saturday, I'm like, boom, I have the energy, I have the time, I'm going alone, and I'm gonna just put myself out there. I wasn't going with anyone. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I went to this hot girl walk, and I met another girl who was going through the exact same thing, as far as wanting to go to the hot girl walk but never having went. And this was her first one and my first one. So then we connected, and we walked together, and we made friends, and she became like a very close friend for the time span of her even being in Miami. And so that was from 2022, and then I moved here in 2024. July of 2024 is when I moved here. So after 2 years of knowing, give or take 2 years of knowing her, that opportunity that I went after by myself, of embarking on a hot girl walk by myself, that opportunity manifested into this beautiful apartment that I have an ocean view. I have all these great amenities. I have a gated community, and it's everyone who knows me knows how I am, and like my last apartment, and like the type of anxiety that I went through. You can actually look at the last videos that I even posted. I had the same pajama on, and I was speaking of a traumatic experience that I had in my last apartment. And Now fast forward to me in the same thing but in a whole different scenario where I'm living in my dream apartment, and I'm like, I love it, I never want to leave, right? And that opportunity manifested just because I looked for it, right? I was open to going to the hot girl walk. I'm always looking for things to do. I have so many things saved on my TikTok, on my Instagram, of things to do, and not only do I save them and like pocket them for ideas, I actually act on these things, right? So I'm always actively, when I have time, figuring out what am I going to do. When people ask me, what do you like to do? I say, what don't I like to do, right? I like to try new things. And that's what I'm talking about, looking for opportunities to do things that I've never done before, because you never know who you meet and you never know who's going to put you in the exact opportunity that you wanted for yourself or you needed. And that brings me to my last tip of how I'm extroverted and how I manifest opportunities out of thin air. And that is by being vocal. So this year, wow, I'm gonna do a separate video about the blessings that God like put into my life and showed me that are possible out of just like, God is so good, right? So in no way am I saying are any of these tips or any of these things are from my will. They're from God's will, right? And I have so many more to share. These are some things that just came to mind as I just did this video on a whim. But this year alone, I got into my dream career. And I had no idea. I'm looking at my vision plan. It's right here. And it says 2025 plans. And nowhere on it was what I manifested this year, because I thought that it was going to take longer. I thought that the dream that I'm living right now, I thought I wasn't going to get it until 2026 or something. But because I was vocal about what I wanted to do, I allowed myself to be put into rooms, to be put into positions to get this manifestations. And what I'm talking about is HR. So I've been dreaming, I do HR for Target, for those of you who don't know, human resources. I had been wanting to do this for a while now. It's been a couple years and I had been like talking about it. I'd like to talk about my plans because I like for other people to know what I'm working on so they can hold me to those things that I'm working on. That's one reason. Another reason I like to talk about my plans is so that people can start envisioning me and seeing me and helping me manifest that being that I am talking about, right? So if you start saying that you want this, you want this, you want this, people start seeing you as you're moving towards this, because you don't speak about it. The key is you can't speak about it in a wishful way. You have to speak about it in a way that you are being it, right? Like, I'm doing this because I'm doing this because. And they start to see you in that role that you aren't yet. But when they think of, when people thought of HR, they thought of Jaslyn, and that was the point, right? So start of the year, I'm working in Target, I'm finishing school, I'm trying to figure out how am I going to get to human resources when I'm doing all these things. I've done all the roles in Target that you can think of in a store. I've probably done it, right? Almost all of them. And I'm like, how am I going to get into human resources from this? So I was just vocal about it. I told the human resources executive at that time that I want her to mentor me and I want to do HR, and I would ask her questions about it. Anytime I had a school project, I would use her, I would interview her, I would pick her brain. So I'm at the front of her mind. It's fresh. Jasmine wants HR. Jasmine wants HR. And so then fast forward, a random position out of nowhere manifests out of thin air. I'm talking about the position didn't even exist, right? It was created. A human resources leader position opened up, 3 of them. And I was enrolled for interviews because obviously my name was mentioned because I was thought of. And yeah, I got it. But not only that, guys, it was a lateral movement of, it was a lateral promotion. I was already a manager, so it went from like a store manager to an HR manager, right? So In target management, you have like the baseline team leads, and then you have executive team leads. Executive team leads are a salary position, right? They make better amount of money. They do more work, point blank, period. But at the point that I'm at and living in Miami, Miami does have a higher expense, higher, what do you call it, standard of living, I guess. You spend more when you live in Miami. Like, Miami is just more expensive. So my whole thing is, if I'm in a if not, I don't want anything to be too much for me, right? So if I'm gonna live here, I don't want to be like, oh, it's too much money for me to live here. In my brain, I just need to make more money. So I'm like, you know what, I need to be an executive team lead. And matter of fact, I need to be an executive team lead in HR. So I won't shut up about it. I start showing up as it. I start telling my boss at because I got transferred to another store. So I start telling that boss at that store, my bad, I had ran out of space on my memory card, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But I start telling my boss, I start telling everybody around me my vision of becoming an executive team lead, because I start seeing the vision for myself, right? I'm like, I can do human resources. That is my jam. I'm good at it. I'm a people person. I know what I'm doing. I know how to train. I know how to develop. I have the mind for everything that Target needs for HR. I'm it. Promote me. Promote me. And when I'm saying it, like, how I'm saying it is how I wouldn't shut up. Like, I was very vocal about it. And guys, I moved into HR in May, because I need you guys to understand this. I moved to HR in May, and then in June, July, August, September. In September, I was promoted to an executive team lead in 4 months. And that usually doesn't happen. People usually work X amount of years before they reach that. Like, all my time, all my promotions in Target and all my times in Target happen from me being vocal. I feel like opportunities do come from you being vocal. And actually, all those times I was deterred. A lot of times people told me, nah, you're not gonna get it. They usually hire this type of person. They usually hire externals, like people from outside of the company. They usually make you jump through hoops to get the promotion. You don't have enough experience. You only been working here a year. I got promoted before my first year of working with Target, and I got promoted to a salary position before my 5th year of working with Target. And that, if you like, I feel like, in our microwave generation, like, having a job for 5 years is like brutal. It's insane. But like, to put it in perspective of me, and I don't want to compare, right? It's not about comparison, but it just put it into a real perspective, a real life perspective, right? Because what you see all these people doing is not what's actually happening every single day in the real world, right? It's not, this is what people show. So I'm coming to you guys from something real and raw, from what I see around me. And people work years. People work and do the same thing years and still don't get what they would have liked to have gotten, because they're not vocal enough, because they don't go for it, because they don't put themselves in the place to get it, right? And they don't tell people what they want. Tell people what you want. Tell people what you want, and let them figure out how to get it to you. Let them figure out how to put you in that thing that you want. And that's what I've always believed in. And I don't believe in no, right? So when somebody tells me no, I just hear it as a not yet. That's what happened. All the times before I got promoted within my first year, I heard it as a not yet, right? And when I moved over to human resources in a lateral position, not a salary position, I heard it as a not yet. So I manifested a promotion in 4 months that was a huge salary increase. I can confidently say I make more than the average American now. The average male or female adult in the United States of America, I make more than the average. And that is not to flaunt or brag or anything. That is a huge accomplishment that I had no idea that was going to happen this year, all because I was vocal. And those are my top 3 tips for being extroverted, because being extroverted per se is what's going to get you to manifest opportunities out of thin air. And it's not me, but rather it's God, and it's rather you working alongside God to give you, to allow things to happen for you, because things can't happen when you're under a rock. Things can't happen when you don't talk. Things can't happen when you're by yourself, when you're in your house, when you don't go out of your routine, when you don't do things, when you say no, when you let your tiredness stop you, your laziness stop you, your fear, your anxiety. Whenever these things are the enemy and they cripple you. Procrastination, another person I met this year, he told me procrastination is the assassination of the future you. And that is so real. So my biggest tips that I could leave you with ever is to be a yes girl, look for opportunities, and be vocal. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that you learned some things. Drop below in the comments what was your favorite tip and what you want to see next. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. It's really going to help me on my platform. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye.